What do you expect from the Monetary Policy Committee? A hike is a given, but the extent is a debate.
Yeah, thank you, Siddharth, for having me on the show. I think, Siddharth, the 2050 is now the new 25. So all probabilities, the Reserve Bank has to go with a 50 basis point rate hike just to keep the pace in conjunction with what's happening across the globe. Even though I think recently the Bank of England has given out some confusing signals yesterday in terms of bond purchase and the government. But keeping aside that, I think given the fact that Fed is going to hike by another 75 in November, 50 in December, I think the possibility the Reserve Bank will hike by 50 this time, and maybe as the pace of Fed hikes taper off towards the end of the year, the Reserve Bank can think of also tapering of the pace of increase. But tomorrow, most possibly a 50 basis point rate hike.
What is the impact of a 50 basis point hike going to be on the economy, especially growth?
See, I'll tell you one thing, Siddharth. I think growth surprisingly has been very strong. Some numbers are to be in perspective. Bank credit growth, which is growing at 16%, is now at a more than a 10-year high. And this 16% credit growth is actually driven by agriculture, infrastructure, SME sector, and of course retail. I'll just mention one number. The retail sector, specifically the MSME sector, has actually shown the significant jump in credit disbursement this year. So that goes against the convention or the discussion that the MSME sector was worst affected during the pandemic. So I think it has held up very well. So if I take all these factors into consideration, also the fact that the real estate sector first half sales were 60% across all metropolis. So I think all sectors have been holding back well. And so my sense is that at the margin it could have some impact, but as of now we think that this rate hike could be a positive communication in the markets, in the sense that it is going to protect the currency also to some extent. So from that point of view, I think if the currency gets protected a little bit, I think the markets will take it with a bigger heart, and also the industry, because at the end of the day, a large part of the input costs are also imported in the Indian context.
What kind of number for GDP growth for the current fiscal are you currently working with?
See, I think the first quarter GDP numbers were lower than the RBI expectation, but I think it was more of an statistical artifact because the manufacturing sector disappointed because there was a lot of other factors which I will not get into the details. But as of now, I think tomorrow the central bank could revise their growth projections downwards to 7%. We are currently working with an 6.8% growth projections, but there could be an upside to that number in the second half if things continue to do well. But as I said to you, and also the fact that if crude prices continue to decline, currently the RBI assumption has been $105 per barrel. Currently the prices are around $85 per barrel. So if the crude prices remain in this range, I think that could also have some positive impact on the inflation. So if I take all these factors into account, we are working with 6.8% growth numbers today. That's more of a statistical adjustment given that first quarter was much lower than 16.2 RBI projections. But going forward, there could be some sort of positive surprises if things hold up as they're doing right now.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.